Let's get to know the artist behind the epic melodies, songs, and beats. Celebrating the best new music from around the world. This is the A State of Trance podcast.
What's up? My name is Ruben Ronde and you're tuned to a new A State of Trance podcast. In the studio today, for the second time actually, Mr. Cold Blue. How are you doing, Tobias?
I'm great. How are you?
Yeah, great. It's nice to have you back in the studio once again. Let's start with everything because this whole visit is about this beautiful album called Mountain.
Yay.
It's finally out. It's 4 years in the making. Mm-hmm. Before we're going to start, I have to say, because like we had a talk before, so if you want to hear more about how Cold Blue became the person that he is right now, or at least 4 years ago that you were here in the studio, something like that. And of course about the history and of course about how he came up with the artist name Cold Blue. Check out the first edition of the podcast that we have with Cold Blue, because today we're going to talk about Mountain. I think that's the most important thing. Tell us, first of all, the cover is a beautiful mountain. How did you come up with the title Mountain? Because that's where it all starts, I guess. Is it something that you had before you started the album, or is it something that you came up with after the album was finished?
I think I had it before. I was in the mountains as a child already, and there's a big attraction for me. It's like a pull. I always want to go there. Whenever I have free time and the weather is good, I want to go into the mountains. So it's a big, like a metaphor for me, the mountain. It gives me so much energy when I'm there. I feel in peace. I feel charged, even if my body exhausted from hiking, climbing, whatever. I feel balanced.
Is it because of being surrounded by the nature, or just by seeing or being on top of the mountain that you can see a valley or something like that?
It's so hard to say what it is. For example, I try to go to the forest once a week just for some physical balance. Sometimes I make it, sometimes not. But the idea is once a week. And it gives me a lot of energy. But once I'm in the mountains, it's on a different level. It's so much more. So it's not just the nature, but there's something about the mountain that I don't know if there are frequencies inside the rocks, whatever that is. I don't know. But it makes me like it to be a different person when I'm there. And I come back and I'm recharged. I'm more focused, peaceful mind. And obviously it's very inspiring for music to go there, because like you say, the nature, the scales, the shape of nature, the lines that you see there, the power of a mountain river, there's so much endless power in there.
Yeah.
Trance is a very powerful genre, so there's a connection. It inspires me. And there's always the idea to turn that image and that impression into music. But that wasn't the goal here. I just had the idea, I want to make an album called Mountain.
That's it.
But
that was the start.
I don't know why, but my next album is going to be called Mountain. And at some point I was building a house, and this whole process, it took years. And I think, I thought it feels like climbing a mountain, this whole
like the whole process, yeah.
Building, the planning, then actually doing the work by myself, and all the setbacks if something doesn't go right, and it's like a thriller too.
The ups and downs in life.
Yeah,
it's like a metaphor.
And then I thought, okay, this album is gonna be the house building process.
Okay.
And then then to make this album took so long that the house building process was already done. And while I put the final album together, there were different topics in my mind, in my life, but I already committed to the art, to the Mountain title. And then I thought, okay, what else could it be? And then I came with the next image that it could represent the mountain, like a metaphor. And then the next one came, and it always fit. And now in the end, I realized, okay, it's an inner process of dealing with something very difficult, very challenging, and to go through it. So. And I think the most common thing is probably a relationship, a connection challenge. If you are connected to a person and then this connection is maybe in danger, something's not right, and it feels very threatening to me, at least, if the relationship is in doubt at some point. And this is where I felt the biggest connection to the album and to the storyline when I compared it to this image of a relationship conflict.
Okay.
So, and that's why when I started to give the tracks titles, I had this idea in my mind, how to go through a relationship conflict.
Okay.
Where in the end you are with yourself. If there's separation in the relationship for some time, you have to deal with it on your own. You have you are connected.
You're climbing the mountain by yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. And then you face all the old fears and like emotions that are stuck inside still from the childhood, from whatever, maybe from past lives even, if you believe in reincarnation. And it's so strong that this is, I believe this is stronger than anything else in life if you are thrown back to these old pains. And I think that's what this album is about.
So the ups and downs in life and going over it by being in a relationship or with yourself or with someone else and overcoming, climbing the mountain together. That's what it is, basically.
Yeah. I heard someone saying, if you want to get in touch with your deep inside emotions, go into a relationship.
And climb a mountain.
And climb a mountain, yeah.
How did you started the album 4 years ago? It took you 4 years. You had mountain in mind to fill in the blanks, I would say. Can you tell a little bit about the creative process as a producer, as a music producer? What was the end goal? Like, because you ended up in 12 tracks, did you have in mind that it was going to be 12 tracks, or did you have like a perfect envision of music that you had in mind that was going to be there until it's finished? So,
my process,
how did it come together?
Yeah, my process is typically that I have a collection of work in progress projects. Like, can be a folder of 50 tracks that I consider to be part of the album. And then I start puzzling around. And some of the tracks are very finished and it's a sure thing that they will be on the album. And some of them are just a melody, but that melody is so good that I think, okay, let's consider it.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why it takes 4 years, because there's so many options and I keep working on it until it feels right.
Yeah.
Everything that I do, if it's just a melody, I keep working on one melody until it feels right. Keep working on the whole track until it feels right. And then even the album. And I think I had the track selection maybe 8-9 months ago already, but it took me that time to fine-tune it and to come up with a great order and to understand what kind of story this is telling.
Yeah.
And everything was almost finished until I realized what story it is.
Okay.
Which I explained earlier.
Yeah.
It was after the music was done.
Yeah.
So the music's like a channel for me to process all the emotions. It tells a story musically, and then I have to put a lot of thought into it and to try to connect to it to understand, okay, it's separation anxiety or it's struggling building a house, whatever it can be.
So basically it's a how do you say it? A snapshot of 4 years in your life. That's what it is. With the ups and downs, with the storms, with the Sunday kiss.
Yeah, right.
Stuff like that. Yeah. That's beautiful. How do you know? Like you're saying a track is done or it feels good. How do you know that a track is actually done? Especially if you put together such a sensitive and conceptual album that you've did. How do you know that it's okay, now it's there?
Yeah, it's maybe one of the hardest parts as an artist. I heard the podcast with Paul Denton where you talked about it, and David Forbes was involved somehow in the topic. How do you know if a track is done, and when do you call it finished?
Yeah, because it's a question I'm asking a lot of people because I don't know the answer either. So I'm just trying to see if do you know, for example?
Yeah, I think there are so many different approaches, and for me, it turned out that I become more and more patient over the years. I don't care if it's going to be finished or not. I have enough tracks that are eventually going to be finished, and then even more that are not finished. And there's no pressure for me to finish any of these tracks, because the finished tracks are already a long schedule, like a long line that want to be released. And that's a very comfortable situation to be in, that there's no pressure to release anything. So I take my time until I feel this is finished. And I think the process is, if I listen to it, there are parts that I like and parts that I don't like. And I don't like to to lie to myself about the parts that I don't like. I'm honest and I say, no, I don't like them, and somehow I can make them better. And that's what I do. I replace the parts that I don't like with something that I like. Sometimes I kick out the melody at the in the very last step, and then it's work in progress again suddenly.
So you park it back in a folder to work on,
And there's always a right moment to work on one particular track.
Yeah.
Especially if I have 50 to choose from, I choose that one that I feel on that day.
Yeah.
I don't choose the one that I hate the most because I want to get it done. I choose the one that I love the most
and get that done.
Try how to get it even better.
That's a good idea.
And eventually, there's always a moment where I confirm it.
Yeah. So you have 12 tracks that you had moments that you confirmed it.
Yeah.
Was that also because I'm very curious because you say that you have a lot of tracks that are almost done or in the work, almost 50 tracks. How do you decide, like, okay, these 12, this is going to be the album? Why not 13? Why not 10? Why not 11?
I don't know. That's intuition somehow. It's so hard to explain. I think the idea is you define your start track. I like to talk about myself, not you. I decided this is going to be the starting title, the first track on the album. It feels good as an intro. Okay, check. Maybe I know the final track or also, like For Miracles, the perfect final track on the Mountain album for me. And then you have the frame already. And then inside of the frame, I try to make decisions in every moment. Is it the good transition? Is it the good next step after the first track? As a DJ, for example, I find the second track, the selection of the second track is the hardest thing in a DJ set for me.
Yeah.
The intro is quite easy. That you have maybe 3 tracks that you consider as an intro and you pick just one of the 3. They all work.
But from there,
like
what energy are you picking up from the
exactly because you want to go one step higher after the intro, and the intro is already very high because you want to start with a bang, somehow. So
was it the hardest to pick Sunday Kiss for the album?
Kind of, yeah. And then that's picked, and then it's clear that the story has to go somewhere. So the third track shouldn't be the same like the first 2, because then it's going to get boring.
Yeah.
So the third one is Storm on the album. It's when change is coming. Nature brings storm, which brings change. And then from there it goes somewhere. And since the final track is already selected, it kind of has
you have a start and an end point.
Yeah, there's a limited number of options, and can be either 11 tracks or 13, but eventually you land at track 12 or at For a Miracle as the last track. And if the whole journey makes sense, then it's done.
Yeah. And
I don't have to add one more track.
And it has been a journey for 4 years that you've been creating this album. I can imagine, because if I look at myself, if the music that I made 4 years ago, I absolutely hate it.
Yeah.
I hate the music that I made 4 years. Well, not hate it, but I feel like I could have done so much better. My productions are becoming better, or my melody writing is becoming better. Or how do you, first of all, how much did the way that you made music change in the last 3 or 4 years? And how difficult is it to stay in love with the music that you made 4 years ago if you're making an album of that period of time?
Great question. I see it more like a chance. Thank God I haven't released this yet. Now I can make it even better. And some of the tracks are maybe 8 years old and they were parked in that folder. because I didn't feel them back in the days. I felt maybe the main melody or the rhythm or the groove, the maybe one FX sound in it. And now I got the chance to complete the picture. And yeah, maybe the mixing quality, the mastering, or the sound design improves over the years because we get better at it. But I think the important thing is the musical decisions that we make in the tracks. And then I don't feel like I have to hate any of the old tracks. They have great.
I shouldn't say
decisions.
hate, but you know how it feels.
Yeah. I think it's just discipline to stay honest with yourself. Do I enjoy what I make here? Is it 100%, or do I try to be lazy because I want to have the next release set?
Yeah, which you don't have to, because you have so many. Besides the album, you were also releasing a lot of other singles in the meantime as well. Obviously. Yeah, which is also, I guess, as a producer in these times as a producer, you need to stay relevant all the time as well. So you have to release other stuff besides the album as well.
That's the next big topic. It's only in our head, the idea we have to stay relevant. Otherwise, the world will end.
The world won't end. But for a musical career, it's very important to stay on top of the mind of people, I guess, at a certain point. But that's we'll get to that because first I want to talk more about the album.
Right.
Which track if you look at the album now and you say it's a very emotional process that you've been through, putting this together, if someone is asking you which track is like the emotional center of the whole album, because you describe a lot of different emotions in there, which is like the centerpiece, the top of the mountain?
I think Into the Wild is the process when I get in touch with the emotion deep inside of myself, when I get to the core. And there's a moment at the end of Into the Wild where everything opens up and there's relief. And when I played the set earlier in the club here, I felt it so strongly. I could have cried if I dared to. But I held it back. And also when I play it at shows, it really works. I don't know why, but it really works that I reconnect to these inner emotions when I play this music. And like Into the Wild and When Time Stands Still, that's the moment when the most is happening inside.
Yeah. Click the most.
Yeah.
Most emotional track. And you describe also that you make a lot of music, that you make ideas and stuff like that. You park them in a folder and then you revisit them. Out of these tracks, which one is the song that you created like a melody and it transformed into something totally different, but it's still the main idea? So which track was actually like made the biggest transformation from demo to final?
That's interesting. Into the Sun is one of them. Actually, Into the Sun is one of the tracks that was meant to be part of an album that I planned to release 2012, 2013.
Holy shit.
That track, the original version of Into the Sun, is maybe 15 years old.
Wow.
That's maybe a prime example of why it makes sense for me to park these tracks, because now I'm 100% in love with it.
That's amazing.
And back in the days, it was great too, and I could have released it, and that's just the mark of the time then, and that's fine. But yeah, that one, and it had a long transformation over the years. So
when you were making it, did you, like in the back of your mind, did you also go back to 2010 when you wrote those melodies, or which kind of state of mind must have been so different than the person that you are right now?
I don't even remember.
No?
So when I work on them nowadays, it feels like this is just here and now.
Yeah.
And it's a new track to me. But it's not. It's
not
old. Yeah.
It's amazing how a mind works. Like, if you go back then 15 years ago, you had an idea in your mind and you wrote it down and now you revisited it after 15 years. That's crazy.
Yeah.
There's no AI that will ever beat that. 100%.
For sure not, yeah.
So that track took 15 years to finish. Was there also a track on the album that took you like a day, or not even a few hours?
No, certainly not.
Because sometimes it just clicks. Like
Yeah,
you sit
one
in
of the
studio,
quickest was Sunday Kiss.
Mhm.
There was the melody only, or two melodies that were playing with each other, like the melody and a counter melody, if you want to call it that way. And I think it was Luminosity 2024, like last year, when I did a really quick production, because I thought, okay, this is...
I have to play it.
It's a great intro.
Yeah.
Let's produce it. And it was like a first take. Every step, every move in the production just worked, clicked.
Next step, yeah.
And that was the quickest one.
Sometimes it just comes together.
Yeah.
I feel in my experience, it's always like when there's a really big show coming up.
Yeah.
And you have to, you put a sort of a deadline in your brain, like, okay, I have to finish this. And you just have to write inspiration, knowing that the show is coming up.
Yeah. It's so rewarding to know there are people waiting for music. Yeah. It's the best feeling.
That's the best feeling, 100%. Yeah. The last album, Winter, and now this one, it really stood out to me that it's all instrumental music except for one tune, Radiate, which is with Nicole Willerton. For my experience, a lot of albums that I see released, including myself as well, it's mostly a vocal driven kind of thing. Why did you decide to go for instrumental once again and make one exception?
Yeah, so instrumental because normally I produce instrumental music to maybe 95%. I feel it a bit more than vocal music because then I can put my own story into it.
Yeah.
If I listen to instrumental music, I can connect my life to it, and there's no story that's projected onto it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if the vocal is right and if the tone of the voice is right and the lyrics and the story of it, then it's even one step higher than instrumental music. I think then I can connect to it even more, but it's very rare that it happens, that it works for me.
Yeah.
But with Nicole Willerton, it works very well. It's the second track, but we already have a third one finished that might be out next year at some point. And they are all 10 of a 10 for me. Like, she's nailing it. And she's not even coming from the trance background.
I think in general that's even better because people go in to a writing process without having like certain rules of a trance track in mind. Yeah, I think that makes a big difference. So yeah, I really like it. That, I mean, what you're saying obviously makes sense because you're so strong with your melodies and your counter melodies that you don't really need to have a vocal to get that trance feeling in your body listening to the music. Yeah. So no, I agree with that. Now, I already mentioned it, 12 tracks on there, but you have so many of them. Did you have like certain tracks that you had in mind? I want to put this on the album, but you cut it?
Yeah, it was White Lights, which is the restart moment after this connection with the old pain or with the conflict deep inside. Afterwards, there's like a moment of relief, and then there's a point where inspiration hits, where a vision comes in. Where do I want to go next?
Yeah.
And this is what White Lights represents on the album. And this was one of the first tracks that were so characteristic that I knew, okay, they will play a big role on the album. I just didn't exactly know where in the story it will take place.
Well, it found its spot. That's the most important thing. Which track out of all of them represents you the most as an artist right now? As the number one showcase or track of the album? Like, okay, if you see Cold Blue in the encyclopedia, that is the tune.
That's
That's
hard.
The one.
You know, that question is too hard.
That's why I'm asking it. Too hard to pick?
Let's say maybe Escape, because it's so powerful, so dark, so many layers. And there's so much going on, which reflects my life at the moment. so many storylines in my life that I'm very excited about, but also anxious. It's big drama in a positive way, maybe.
Yeah.
And Into the Rain also, because it's very unique, I feel. And I'm so happy about all the positive feedback for Into the Rain, which was the previous single before the album came out. And I was a bit surprised by how well people took it. They can really relate to it. And because it's so different, it's not typical uplifting. It's not, I don't even know what it is. It's just very melodic, very melancholic also, but people feel it. And that makes me even prouder now about it.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the one.
Now I have another, how do you say, side question for this, because I love doing like random things in my production as well. Is there a hidden detail or maybe like an Easter egg that you put it in one of the tracks or on the album that people might not listen to and they're thinking like, hey, what's going on here? Or like maybe a weird sonic texture or whatever.
Yeah,
did you put anything weird into the album?
For sure. But I love to use weird things because they make it unique.
Yeah.
What we do. Just to record random samples and then even manipulate them. I put some ambient sounds into it that I took on my last longer vacation in Thailand. There were some, just out of the videos that I took basically, but some videos I took on purpose because I liked the sound, the background sound.
Which was?
Could be wind or ocean noise. A bird in the end of For a Miracle, so at the very end of the album, you can hear some of the sounds, for example. In Escape, there's a train horn that I sampled in America at some point.
Yeah.
They have these very old train horns, really characteristic. And the whole track sounds like a train, like the groove of it. Yeah, there are more things like that.
So there's some Easter eggs in there. And for people then to spot them, it would be nice to find if people could find out where they
for the giveaway.
Yeah. So if you're listening right now and you feel like, okay, this is the weird sound that I'm hearing right now.
Yeah. Give it a try.
Give it a try, 100%. You told us that you were very vulnerable about the story behind the album. And is there any advice or is there any how do you say it? Is there any story that you want to tell a listener, or do you want to encourage them by giving you the album to the listener? Like, is there anything that you want to share, particularly with the listener of the album, especially if they listen to it as a whole?
Yeah.
What do people get out of listening to the album? That's the question, really.
I think it's a tricky one because it's very hard to give like therapeutical advice or psychological advice to people. I can just say what works for myself, and that's connecting to the pain inside. That's my story of the album, basically. And I think that's why it feels so rewarding to share all this, because it helped me so much. The idea is we have to do some homework,
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, work on yourself
in order to get a better connection to ourselves and then also to other people. So if we want to live love, what we all talk about, we have to come back to love and stop all the war on the planet. But that's the job that we have to do. And we can't wait for the others to. They have to find love first, and then I join them.
Yeah.
No, it works the other way around. And in order to get there, I realized I need to clear all the pain inside. I need to discover what is still trapped inside.
And that's what Mountain is.
That's what Mountain is.
So it's a cleansing of the soul. That's what it is.
and I actually had a rewarding moment, which is represented in For a Miracle. There was a period where I did a lot of that work, and I feel like I felt like I solved a lot of those old things, and and I did my homework, and now everything is clear. And then suddenly the right people came into my life, and the right things happened that I needed to go on the next step. And for Miracle is a dedication to one person that came into my life when I did all the steps before that needed to be done. And now I feel like a
she's
happy
in the
man.
studio today.
Yes.
Now,
and one more thing, it's actually so easy. It didn't feel like the hardest thing I had to overcome, I had to solve in my life. It was more like, okay, wow, that's it. That's all.
Everything clicked.
It was painful for a moment, but then afterwards, and it was so quick and not even a long therapy process or anything. The key was more to find that spot and then really go deep into it and open it up and feel it and then letting it go. And then suddenly everything becomes easy. So that's maybe the thing I want to share, to encourage people. If you feel ready, go on that path in your life. And I know many do already, and I get so many great messages of people who tell me they are on their journey of healing, of finding love, of becoming a better person. Oh, that sounds, I don't like that. This wording.
Well, not a better person, but a better life.
Yeah.
Like a better experience in what you're doing. I think that's great. After finishing quite a huge and emotional project like this, what do you need to do as an artist? Do you feel like I have to take some rest? Like it's finished, it's out there now. How were the last few weeks for you after the release of the album? Did you rest? Did you explore? Did you feel like, okay, I have to do more music now? Or what is in the back of your mind when you enter the studio right now, for example?
Yeah, the thing is, there are so many other storylines in my life at the moment that I feel I don't have enough space for the album even. I don't give it the attention that it needs, and that feels quite bad. Also, that I don't go on tour with it. Like, every artist is showing us that's the way you do it. You release an album and then you have a worldwide tour for 1 year. And I don't do that, and I feel bad about it. For one, because people would like to see and to see me and to hear the music, maybe, hopefully. But also there's the ego that wants the album to be the most successful that it can be, and I feel like I don't give it the attention that it needs. So I feel a lot of pressure, and which is kind of sad because I could just celebrate.
Yeah.
What kind of
or maybe just realizing that makes it, you're here to promote it as well. So you're putting effort into it. So
yeah, and I'm grateful for it, that even if I turned very quiet over the last years touring wise, I still get opportunities like with you now to show my music and to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's great. Thank you.
Oh, it's great that you're here, 100%. Now, there's one more thing that I would love to know, because we were talking about this already, like not staying relevant necessarily, but I feel as an artist nowadays, you just need to create so much buzz or content all the time just to stay on top of mind. So most of the people decide not to do albums anymore. They rather just single. Like, just keep throwing music as much as you can, but still you decide to make an album, and I think it's so beautiful that you have something a snapshot of 4 years of Tobias here right now. I think that's great, and I think there's no right or wrong, and people should not be forced upon themselves just to release music just to stay relevant. I think you should just follow your path and make the stuff that you love the most, I guess. Right? That's at least how I see it.
And a lot of it is trust that we will find our way anyway. I think a lot of it is the financial dependency that,
of course,
we need to get the income from touring, maybe from record sales or streamings. And if we realize that it's not healthy for us to go that path, then it needs trust that something else will work for us in our life, that we dare to step out of that game. And that's very hard for many people if they don't have any alternative in mind.
Yeah, very true. You started the path for Mountain in 2021. Does that mean that you already decided that the album title for the next album as well? Because you said you had Mountain in the back of your mind. This is my path for the next full year. So you already have it.
Yes.
But you're not going to share it, obviously. No, makes a lot of sense.
It might change.
Okay.
So, but I have one in mind, and I'm looking forward to start with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to see you in 2029.
Maybe next year. We don't.
We'll see.
Never know.
No pressure, 100%. Thank you so much for answering all these questions and to share what you shared with us, because I think it's beautiful.
Great to talk to you. And I want to say hi from my dad, who is a big fan.
Really? Okay.
Of your way of talking to people and listening.
Oh, that's amazing.
He listened to the last podcast and he asked me to say hi to you.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. Dankeschön. Thank you so much for listening. And if you want to win one of these copies, check the episode of A State of Trance, check the guest mix that Tobias did for us. And in the end of the episode, or somewhere in the beginning or in the middle, I don't know. You have to find out because you have to listen to it. You will find a way to win a CD copy or a vinyl copy. And thank you once again for sharing everything today. See you next time for a new podcast. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in. Check all previous episodes on YouTube or your favorite podcast portal.